Okay, we are here on another episode of the Patriots Podcast. I'm Sean with Ryan and JJ.
Hello.
What's up?
Before we get into this disaster fest, please remember to like and subscribe, comment, rate, review. Help us out. Thank you for supporting us. We appreciate you guys listening, especially when we have horrendous football to talk about. We got on the horn last week and thought we had bottomed out. 37-3, lost to Dallas. We decided to lose by the exact same margin, but this time get completely shut out by a mediocre to bad football team, the New Orleans Saints. It seems like it keeps getting worse. I don't know what to think about it. I have 2 full pages of a strategy to turn things around. So
2-page strategy. Let's get it right. Follow this. We'll be fine.
It's a lot. I mean, Ryan, we were talking ahead of time. What are your initial feelings after this 2-week stretch?
We're not ready to play. We're not good enough on any aspect right now. Defense is banged up. The Saints came in, team you were favored against, team that's not that great, and they beat you 34-0. And it looked like you quit, and it looked like the coaches quit. And there were situations where we could have gone for it on 4th down. You know, we're probably not going to win the game, but you go for it there on the opponent's side of the field. 4th and 3, to punt the ball is just like, well, you know, we just don't think, you know, we're going to play for next week or the week after. Things need to be simplified to such a degree that it's like high school football for us to be competitive. I think that the offensive line's bad, and that's a reflection of Bill. The quarterback can't do anything out of structure. That's a reflection on Bill. The wide receivers can't get open. It's a reflection on Bill. At some point, fingers need to be pointed. What's the common denominator here? And honestly, GM Bill has not done a good job putting this roster together. We knew all along that these tackles sucked. At least one spot was sucked. You know, we drafted a guard in the first round. He hasn't been playing. His knee injury. Onwenu, when he's been in there, has been trash. He got hurt. He hurt his ankle in this game. David Andrews is aging. We addressed a lot of the interior offensive line in the draft process last year.
And they're still having problems.
They haven't really played besides Mafi. There's just a lot of problems in this team right now. I don't want to put it on Mac Jones. I don't want to put it on one person. Definitely, I think that
You were going to put it on Bill, weren't you?
I'm basically putting it on Bill
There you go.
as a GM.
Yeah.
Not so. I mean, and even as a head coach, to not be able to get your team ready to play. I mean, 34-0
Yeah,
against the New Orleans Saints after a 38-3 the week before.
Yeah, I
James?
mean, your total offense was 156 yards, passing and rushing. I mean, you've played better defenses, you've played better teams, you've stayed in the game for, you've played competitively the first 3 weeks. You won a game. Everything was kind of trending in the right direction. Mac Jones kind of seemed like the best part of our offense. He seemed like the guy that was kind of keeping things moving, making some plays. You go to Dallas, you get absolutely destroyed. He has the worst game of his career, which happens. It's like, okay, that happens. This one's really like, what is going on? Something, it's gotten worse than we've expected. All the worst fears have come out. Now we're questioning all kinds of decisions in the past because you just got trounced. You're the worst team in power rankings, I think, across the board right now. It was just a really bad game.
So rosters and like personnel aside, they didn't look like they gave a shit.
They quit, and it looked like something happened. It seems like something happened after the Jets game to cause it. Like, if this just doesn't happen, they seemed fine, trending in the right direction. It feels like something happened. I don't know if it was a coaching thing or Mac Jones. I've heard the thing thrown around that it was after the nut slap to Mac Jones did. Ever since then, some guys have questioned him or whatever, and I can see it. Maybe people have just lost faith in Mac. They see how he responds to stuff, and they don't want to play for him. That's kind of what it seems like on offense, that guys don't really get motivated for him. They don't trust him. I mean, he's thrown, 5 pick sixes this year, 4 pick sixes.
He's had 12 turnover-worthy plays, I think.
He's
He might
had
have
6 turnovers in the past 2 weeks.
Yeah.
6.
Yeah.
Now, you could say the Montgomery thing, that was a deflected pass. I mean, the first interception, he's falling. It's just like, take the sack or throw it into the ground. Why are you throwing it out there like that? You should know better. He's so petrified of making mistakes. He's at the point where he's so scared to make a mistake that he's making mistakes. He's like,
I don't understand it. From a roster point of view, I don't understand it either, because you went into this draft, you went into free agency, you
it's
added
not good.
Gesicki. Gesicki's the only
Juju.
Riley Reef. You wanted, okay, Juju.
who's terrible.
He is.
I mean,
He's
he's
so
a
bad.
shadow of Jacoby Myers. He doesn't get it. He just doesn't fucking get it.
He had 3 catches for 6 yards.
And then he got a concussion.
And it's like,
And-
how is that
and,
even possible as a receiver? 3 catches for 6 yards.
So my thing with this roster construction, though, is Mac Jones. You want to build around Mac Jones, right? So you put Mac Jones on like a San Francisco or a Philly or even a Dallas, a team like that that has structure, that has protection, that has a weapon, that makes sense to me, right? Like, I think he would do very well in all those places. A bunch of teams I think he would do well because they have good offensive lines. They have guys that can beat their guys downfield, get open. We don't have any of that. Nothing. We don't have any kind of structure built around him.
Nothing.
Where he can be reliant on those types of players. So for me, he's not the right quarterback for the team because there's so many holes around the roster. And it's not getting better. I thought it was getting better week 1 and 2. It has dive bombed like
Seemed
a
like
boulder
it
in the
was.
sea.
Definitely seemed like it was.
It seemed like it was, but I mean, I can't stomach these 2 losses in a row, and I don't know how you rebound from that. It's a 1-4 team, right? Going into the Raiders, and then you have the Bills and Dolphins, and it's like this could be. If you lose to the Raiders, dude, you're 1-7.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know, and
That's just bad.
I mean, maybe that's what it's going to take for other people to turn around. But like, this is the worst scoring offense in the league right now.
Yeah.
The worst.
No,
You know?
Yeah, I got a couple stats. Worst, like you said, worst scoring offense in the NFL. Last in pass protection win rate. Last in special teams DVOA. Near the bottom in point differential and turnover differential. We might even be last in both of those. I'm
We're
not
last
sure.
in turnover.
Okay.
How telling is the running game as well? Like,
They looked
the
like they were
running
starting to
game
get
can't
it
even-
going in this game, and we just didn't run it to people.
They got away with it, yeah. I mean, they got away from it.
It's like first down, first play of the game. Ramondre Stevenson runs for 8 yards. Second and third down, they don't run it again. It's like, oh, okay.
How telling is 26th in the NFL? I'm sorry, Ramondre Stevenson and Ezekiel Elliott as your running game should not be 26th in the NFL.
No,
They just shouldn't.
no. There's people that are.
There's no creativity. Like, where are the trick plays? Where are, like, just to switch it up, something
Anything.
different. Give them a
You're
different
reading
look.
my list.
You know,
You're reading my list right there. The last stat is our receivers are last in the NFL in average separation per route run.
Devontae Parker is trash. Juju
yeah.
Smith-Schuster is trash. We got Devontae Parker for contested catches. Has he made a contested catch this year?
He made
Doesn't
one
look
this
like he
week. He got interfered with and he made the catch.
The one on the sideline?
That's where he belongs.
Or the one late with Billy Zappi that didn't matter after the game was like 31.
Well, no,
I
yeah, he
don't
made one
remember
down the
when the
left
change was.
sideline on one of the only drives we seemed to put things together. It was like Kendrick Bourne over the middle for a good chunk, 20 yards or so, and Devontae Parker for like 14 or 15. It's like, oh, wow, this looks pretty good. And on those 2 plays, Mac did have a clean pocket. Now, he's played like absolute garbage, but he's super afraid of the rush. He's getting pressured. I think every week it's more. The first 3 games it was around 35%. The last 2 games it's been around 40 to 50%. He's gotten, he's been pressured. So that's difficult to, especially with those pass rushers coming at you to play. He's been awful. It's a matter of, can you fix the guy? He's seeing things. He's got his footwork is a mess. I don't even know anything about quarterback footwork, and I'm watching like, oh my God, he is just happy feet. So on that same
Even
drive,
when he's got time.
on that same drive, he They completed the Kendrick Bourne play. They're around the 50. They're around midfield. Fresh set of downs. I want to say 30 seconds left, 40 seconds left, something like that. And first down incompletion, second down sack, third down sack. The first of the 2 sacks was his fault. He's in shotgun. He takes 6 steps backwards. So now he's 10 yards down behind the line.
I didn't understand that at all.
And then both tackles are there. So if he just stood where he was in shotgun, the tackles would have went around the outside like they normally do, and he would have had a clean pocket because the guys up in the middle did decent. But he didn't. He kept running backwards, which is, I don't know who's telling him that or who's not saying anything to him. He can't be running backwards, and then he gets sacked. The next play on the third down wasn't his fault. He took a sack, and someone just completely blasted him up the middle. Not much you can do about that. The guards are terrible, as Ryan mentioned. The tackles, Trent Brown is good one week, not good the next week. You can't really rely on him too much. I've got some thoughts on what they could do, but it's pretty bad right now.
Yeah. Well, let's level set on what we think the possible outcomes are for this team. So I was thinking about it, and like one of the things Ryan's brought up previously is, should you just tank? Should you just hey, maybe we'll try to do something.
I don't know. I didn't say that.
You've brought it up previously. I didn't say this year. In like previous seasons, maybe we should try to get a better draft pick, essentially. Maybe I shouldn't pin that on you. Some people are saying that. Let's put it that way. Some people are saying tank for a better draft pick. And I guess that would assume that you have no chance of doing anything worthwhile this year.
Right.
And one of the issues that I have is if you're objectively tanking a season, objectively trying to lose, then you lose the locker room entirely, and guys don't develop. What you need to do is put a challenge in front of them and give people opportunities to develop. And so some of the guys that could get opportunities are younger guys. We know what we have in Devontae Parker, Juju at this point. So maybe Keyshawn Butte gets some more time. Or maybe we bring Tyrone Wheatley in to give him some time on the offensive line. Give Sidney Sow a chance. Give guys opportunities, but you still need to have that challenge level in front of them. Like, we're trying to win. You're being judged on every play out there. We need you to kick ass. Mm-hmm. But even if they do that, they're not going anywhere meaningful.
They don't have the horses.
I don't think you need to tank.
They're
I think
bad
that
enough.
you can play this team, and they're that bad. They're that bad. With the amount of injuries we have, I think we've gone 30, 33, 34 straight drives without a touchdown.
Something like that. It's huge.
That's unbelievable.
It's a huge
I
number.
think we've scored.
It was like
we've let the defense
11 in the
score
Dallas
21
game.
points on us.
Yeah.
Right. It was 11 in the Dallas game, I think. It was 14 in this last game. So it was at 25, and I think it was eight drives after we scored that. Guess who had the last touchdown? Do you guys remember?
Pharaoh Brown.
Against the Jets?
Pharaoh
Brown.
Old Pharaoh.
All right, so after that, it was punt, missed field goal.
A lot of missed field goals.
A lot of missed field goals.
A few. I'm not ready to say Ryland's no good, but
No, you went with the plan. You had to go with the plan. It's like you drafted that kid that high. You couldn't just cut him. You did that to Rohrwasser. No. It's like you either were gonna. They should have just done what the Saints did and drafted someone in the 7th round or undrafted, because he looks okay, but maybe in a few years, who knows? He won't be as good.
There's so many good
It's
rookie
tough when you
kickers
draft
this year.
a kicker
So
in the 4th
they
round.
drafted the guy super high. Folk, they didn't need to do it, but whatever. I'll
That's
live
the
with
least of
that
our
one.
issues right
Yeah,
now.
right.
Here's my thing. There's so many holes.
That's the problem.
That you need a quarterback that can play with that many holes. And those guys don't come cheap. Those guys are top 10 draft picks.
Yeah.
So you want to fix this thing? You really want to fix this thing? Because that's what it's going to take. Mac Jones is a guy that needs structure. He needs players around him. I mean, if you put him in San Francisco, do you think that team is much different? I don't think they're that much different.
Not a whole lot different.
No,
you definitely need talent on this team. I mean, I don't know. I personally think right now you got the highest. Your draft stock is the highest it's going to be, because everyone thinks you suck and are going to have a super high draft pick. And not to say I wouldn't ever get rid of a 1st-round pick, but if there's someone on another team that's blowing the doors out, receiver, tackle, Go fill a hole. I would. I definitely would.
No way. No fucking way.
Because think about it.
Fucking way,
Here,
dude.
here's my reasoning. We don't hit on any offensive players, and you could say, well, if we have a new regime next year, they're going to do it, and they're going to hit on all these guys. It's like the odds of us getting a receiver next year, 2 tackles, possibly a quarterback. It's not going to happen.
That is why you need a quarterback that can make the whole thing look better. And I don't dislike
know.
Mac Jones. I think Mac Jones is good. I think Mac Jones is good instructor.
Yeah.
And when this whole thing is like talent deficient, Mac Jones is not going to make that look a lot better.
But
And
I just feel like right
a
now,
quarterback changes everything, dude. Like a legitimate Drake May, Caleb Williams. I don't really like putting Bo Nix that high because I've watched him at Auburn. But, like, this next quarterback class is loaded. More so than it's going to be the following year. So if you think you're going to wait and get a quarterback the following year, if you think you're going to get one in free agency, those guys don't exist. Free agent quarterbacks do not exist.
Lamar
you have
Jackson
to trade
did.
for them.
Ugh. I mean, you had to trade for him, but God,
You have
Lamar
to trade
was
for
right
them. That's
up
what I'm
there.
saying.
I know,
You
they
have to
could've
trade
got him.
a boatload for guys that can play.
Or guys that can't play,
quarterbacks.
like Russell Wilson.
Yeah. That's what I'm saying. And it's a trade, though.
yeah.
You know? So if you're ever going to be in the top 5 of the draft and your team is this
But how
deficient,
many? Look at all the guys in the top 5, the top 10 that don't make it.
It's all the time. It's all the time. It's
You know
like,
what? I mean,
you
that
you
scares
got to
me.
take a chance,
Right.
man.
I'd rather take
You
someone
have
in
to
the
take the chance.
mid rounds. I feel like you're not. It's not as big. Like look at Brock Purdy.
Oh,
It's
it
just
is.
everything around him is nasty.
he's really
I'd
good.
rather-
Too.
Yeah, we don't have. All right, so
He's really good, too.
Brock Purdy, your point, Brock Purdy. Brock
Right.
Purdy's got an amazing offensive line,
Right. That's what
amazing
I'd invest in.
weapons everywhere.
I'd take.
Those things,
I'd take
you
a
hit.
couple
They
years.
hit on all those guys.
Also, that team.
So-
I know it's like the ideal in terms of roster construction. The bill is coming due next year. If you look at their salary cap for next year, it is
Oh, yeah,
a
it's ridiculous.
nightmare.
I mean,
it's an absolute nightmare.
It is. Our salary cap
the
situation
season-
compared to everyone is a joke. It's like we are.
Well, Mac Jones is on the roster next year. You don't have to worry about that.
Oh yeah, definitely.
The following year, you have. All right, so today,
yeah.
I pose this question to both of you. You pick up Mac Jones' 5th-year option.
No, not a chance.
No.
No way.
100% no.
Yeah,
Like,
he's got
The team-
He's still got 10 games to see if he can finish a game
Yeah.
without getting benched. But
I mean, if
no,
he turns
not a
it around
chance.
somehow and gets back on track to where he was 2 games ago,
Yeah.
maybe 3 games ago,
3 games ago.
for 8 games. I don't know.
Yeah.
I'd think differently about it, but that's why
His
I got a whole
problems.
season.
His problems are mental right now, and it's manifesting itself with, like JJ said, poor footwork, which is causing accuracy issues, and the confidence issues are
just
causing him to like.
Really screwing with him.
Beginning of the game, he sailed a couple throws, and they'll be like, "Oh, it was wind. Look at what Bailey Zappi did. He sailed throws too." Those guys were scared to throw those balls.
Yeah.
They
Oh,
weren't
yeah.
confident in it, and then the
wanna
footwork
be clear.
goes to shit. The decision making goes to shit, and then the play goes to shit as a result.
I want to be clear. I don't dislike Mac Jones. I think that he can be a really good quarterback in the right structure. He's got to have pieces around him. He's got to. He's got to have protection. If he can make throws on time with proper protection, where he feels comfortable enough to step
Absolutely,
in the
I
pocket,
agree,
he can find open guys. But we are so far from that right now. We are so removed from what we even had 2 weeks in. The offensive line
How do you fix it?
is abysmal.
How do you fix
I
it?
would
is it
go
time?
get a lineman.
You gotta-
I'd go
you
trade
gotta-
a freaking 3rd round or 2nd round pick or a
You
player.
don't fix it this year.
I'd get a
you don't
lineman.
fix it this year.
I'd go
Do
get
you
some.
get it
fix it with
respectable.
coaching? Do you
I mean,
make a
what's his
change in
name?
coach?
It doesn't
That's the
look
way
too
it's
good.
been in the past. In the past, we've had bad offensive lines, but we had Dante Scarnecchia
I know, yeah, they
here
made it. They always made it work.
that
but your tackles
that would
right
just
now, dude.
figure it out. Do you have any faith in Adrian Clem making this thing a lot better than it is right now?
I went so far as to look up
No.
what offensive line coaches are available. And do you guys remember Dave DeGuglielmo, or however,
Yeah.
Googe, Coach
The
Googe?
Guglielmo,
We
yeah,
fired
yeah,
him, didn't we?
They parted ways after
Yeah,
the 2015
right, yeah,
season. He coached somewhere else again afterwards. Veteran offensive line coach, currently unemployed, still in his 50s.
I mean, I just can't believe it's worse than last year.
It's worse.
Last year you
And-
didn't have an offensive line coach, and we thought that was the problem. At least Michael Wynn was playing great. That was, a big part of it.
I was listening
The
to
veterans are
Dave-
playing worse,
David-
and no one's developing. That seems like a coaching issue.
It's getting
It
worse.
looks like David Andrews is regressing. Cole Strange is always hurt.
Onwenu has
Onwenu
regressed. He's hurt.
on this game, and he's regressed massively in a contract year. Trent Brown has a ton of quit, and he's chock full of quit. I mean,
Yep.
for fuck's sake, there was one play in this game where both rushes came from outside the C gap, far C5 gap, and almost seven gaps. They were like so far out, and they got to the quarterback because the quarterback wasn't comfortable, and he was expecting like a stunt or something, and he didn't step up in the pocket, and it's
bad.
I mean it's a cancer, right? So once
bad.
you get uncomfortable for a quarterback,
if they
there's no more
figure out-
pocket.
If they could somehow figure out the offensive line, that would be huge.
Oh, yeah.
That would make a lot of things better. I mean, Thornton sounds like he's activated. He's coming back this week.
He's
I don't have
practicing.
I don't have a lot of confidence that he's going to do much of anything. But if he's a spark, you get Demario Douglas back. I think Juju Smith's season seems like he's over.
So all these guys you're naming right now, they're not close to playing. They're in concussion protocol. Juju Smith-Schuster
Schuster's out.
and
I don't want Schuster
Demario
back.
Douglas.
I hope he takes a long
Demario
time.
Douglas is in concussion protocol.
Yeah.
Who's the other one you named? Thornton?
He's
What's he going
back.
to do for the
He's
offensive line?
practicing. Yeah,
He's-
you're
he-
right.
What's he going to do for the offensive line?
No, I know.
You
but
need time to get that guy
You-
deep.
That's what I said. First, I said you have to get the offensive line playing, and if you get them playing, that makes a lot of things easier. Maybe Thornton
Yeah,
provides you
it's-
something, but they
All right.
got to figure something out.
Can I
They
run
can't
my
just keep
plan by
doing
you?
this. Yeah. Okay. What's
me
your
But
plan?
I would love to hear that
All
plan.
right. So I don't know the first part, and it's critical, and I don't know how you do it because I don't know enough about football. But you need to fix the running game, and it might be as simple as sticking to it. And it might, or maybe you just go back and you look at what did you do the last 2 years, and just start running those plays instead. But you need to, at the very least, stick to the running game, even if you're not gaining yards at a high clip. It
No,
needs to be a
definitely.
presence. A lot of people say this. This is not original. You need to use more play action. Running the game plus play action. We did use a lot more of it,
We used a lot more last week.
and
yeah.
we used a lot more of max protection. But you essentially need to always use max protection when our offensive line is playing like this and Mac Jones is having confidence issues
Yeah.
like this. Mac cannot throw the ball to the boundary unless he has play action. So that's the only time you're going to be able to use the entire field is if you're using play action. So I think they need to do a ton more of that. And
Do you see what we're dealing with, though, Sean?
yeah,
We are limited.
so limited. Yeah, you gotta thread the game plan through the keyhole. I'm trying to make it work
Holy
for the
shit.
talent that's on this team.
And
then-
by the way, Sean, if all this works,
Yeah.
if everything you're saying right now, if all this work, you're talking about in this season right now.
Yeah. You're a
What
6-win
do
team.
We're yeah. All right.
6-win team. Yeah, something like that.
Okay.
Yeah, and then the other piece is you need to get chunk plays. We are woefully inept at finishing drives or even really getting past the opponent's 45-yard line. It's like we always get there and we take a sack and then we punt. You need to get chunk plays. Mac Jones can't throw the ball downfield. You mentioned Tyquan Thornton. Maybe they can use his speed for something. We don't really have anybody fast on the offense right now. But the real trick is trick plays, gadget plays. You see it all over the NFL. I think 2 different teams scored a touchdown on like a reverse
The same
throwback
play.
pass, flea flicker. You see it. The Raiders ran 2 flea flickers last night. They didn't work out, but at least they tried them. I mean, I don't think we've tried a single trick play all season.
We've tried anything.
Yeah, we haven't tried anything
Try
even close to
something.
the sort.
We're causing no
Something,
turnovers.
switch it up. Jesus. I mean, so all those things work. We're a 6-win team. You happy with that? I mean, what are we doing? You want to be a 6-win team, or you want to be a 2-win team that gets a franchise quarterback?
There's that tanking talk again. I knew it was going to come out.
I just I mean, I call it like I see it, dude. I want a fucking quarterback in here that can make all these shitty players around him look better.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
That's
And you
so
don't find
hard
that
to come
guy
by,
like
though.
JJ
Yeah.
thinks. JJ thinks you could just find that guy in the second,
No,
third,
no, no,
sixth,
no, no,
seventh
no.
round.
That's not what I'm saying. I'm saying
That's
it's more
fucking luck.
likely to find a guy if you build a good roster. We haven't built a good roster. I think
So
we
you're-
should focus on building a
So-
good roster and slowly bring along a quarterback.
All right, so let's just go through this.
It's gonna be
all
like 3 years.
You want a blue chip wide receiver, right?
I do.
Yeah.
Where do those guys go? First round.
All
Those
of
guys go in the first round
And second
normally.
round. Some of them
I
are
would
in the
rather
second.
get someone in
Offensive
trade.
tackle always in the first round.
Draft.
The first half of the first round.
First round, yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
So
High first
we're
round.
talking about all right. So
Well-
this year you get a tackle. This next year you get a wide receiver.
We've
3
done
years
good
from
with
now, you
tackle
get,
in the second round. We've gotten a couple there.
Who?
You know,
we
Vollmer?
have no who.
Vollmer and Matt
Vollmer?
Light. Two
Matt
of
Light was
the-
the second rounder.
We're
You're
going
right.
back, dude.
But
We're
we
go-
won't think about it, dude. Look how many tackles we've drafted above the fourth round in the past decade. Nate Solder in what, 2011, 2012, and then
We never draft tackles.
Isaiah Wynn.
The last tackle we drafted
that
was
Isaiah Wynn or
Stuber, Andrew
he's
Stuber
a
in the seventh round.
rounder, sixth rounder. And it's not like we've invested
Why
in the
didn't we-
position.
I'm amazed that we didn't draft tackle at all last year. We said, "Oh, we'll take City Sow and
Yeah, I know. And
see how he looks."
DeJuan Jones is starting over in Cleveland. He looks pretty good.
Yeah.
Dude, the draft.
God, I love DeJuan Jones. Do
So, I hate to be this negative. Bill the GM is fucking up. Can we just admit Bill the GM
It's been
is
bad.
fucked
Yeah.
up?
James,
Whoever's-
I want to hear
Yeah.
this list. This list you've been compiling
All right,
of
so
offensive
I want-
draftees.
so this is why I'm nervous about going into the draft. I mean, if we change everything, sure, but it just does. You know, not everyone. There's like a few good teams that have a good draft every year, maybe. So here's all the offensive draft picks. This is only going back to 2018, so it's not even that far. But so we know this year's draft, obviously. Well, the book's still out on them. Last year it was Cole Strange, Tyquan Thornton, Pierre Strong, Bailey Zappi, Kevin Harris, Chasen Hines, Andrew Stuber. This is just last year. Half these guys are
Like
gone
one player, two players
or
on the
not
team.
playing. Right.
Two players on the two players on the team.
On the team. Well, Zappi too. Zappy's Zappy's on the team.
He's on the team.
So Strange, Tyquan
Like-
Thornton, and Bailey Zappi are the only ones left.
Let's go back. Zappy could have been picked up by anybody.
Yeah.
Like
We
5
just
weeks
let
ago.
him go, so we were real confident in that. Then the year, 2021 year before that, it's Mac Jones, Ramondre Stevenson, Will Sherman, Trey Nixon. You know, Mac Jones doesn't look too hot this week, so I won't say much about him. But Ramondre Stevenson, that was a hit. Before that, 2020, Devin Asiasi, Dalton Keene, Mike Owenu, Justin Heron, Dustin Woodard, whoever the hell that is. That year, the only one left is Mike Owenu, trending downwards. Year before that, N'Keal Harry, Damian Harris, Yanni Kajust, Hajalt Frodholt, who is starting, actually, by the way,
Really?
somewhere. I saw him.
For a different team.
Yeah, no, Denver maybe, and Jarrett Stidham. So nobody even there from the 2019 draft. The year before that, Isaiah Wynn, Sony Michelle, Braxton Berrios, Danny Etling, and Ryan Izzo. Who would have thought Braxton Berrios was the one we let go too fucking early? So if you add all that up, anyone who made any difference on that, you subtract that out, that's 19 players who were just complete washes. Maybe started a year or less. 19
lot.
players, that's in 5 years.
So
Terrible.
I understand what you're saying.
Terrible drafting.
A lot of teams have bad drafts. That's too many.
It's terrible.
That's way too many. And I'm sorry, it's Bill the GM there. You know, and how's he gonna? You think Bill's gonna give up GM responsibilities?
No.
Yes or no?
No.
So no. So a change needs to be made.
Something's got to
And-
happen. I don't know what.
and-
I mean, maybe they turn it around. I think that's why I'm saying I'd trade right now. People think you're going to have a top 5 pick, so your third round pick is worth more than the Niners' third round pick or somebody.
Interesting.
So
Let me ask you.
your value, as they always say, is super high for drafting, and then you could go to one of these shitty teams and get a low guy, 1 or 2, maybe stops the bleeding this year a little bit, and you have a mid-round draft pick. Now you got someone for more value. They're always talking about that bullshit. This is the most value-added situation you're going to be in.
How much college ball do you think Bill watches?
That's a good question.
In February, probably a shitload.
In February?
Yeah.
Right. When it's time.
Yeah.
How about the guys that have been watching this shit all year round? Wouldn't you want a guy that's devoted to a GM that's devoted to this all year round?
Yeah,
Wouldn't you rather have that than a GM coach?
Yeah.
What's his name? What's his name that we have right now? That's like the impromptu.
And the odds of right,
GM.
but
Something grow.
Matt Groh. But do you think the odds of Bill actually relinquishing full responsibility to him are over 50%? I don't. I feel like Bill has a say on every player that comes in here.
Yeah. One of the issues Julian Edelman was talking about it this week when he's like, you have an expectation when a first round pick shows up that they're
pick.
like that they have some remarkable trait. They're super fast. They're really big. They're really tall. Whatever it is.
You knew who he was talking about too.
You knew he was talking about N'Keal Harry.
Yeah.
That was pretty easy to see.
Like, this is a first round pick.
Yeah, but he's talking about really anybody the Patriots have brought in where it's like, are they special in any way, even if they're
Cole
drafted
Strange.
at the high end?
Cole Strange is a great example. We you think about it now. We traded away Shaq Mason 2020, right?
Yeah.
To the Tampa Bay for a 4th rounder. And he's still in the league playing. I think he's on the Texans now.
He's making money too. He's making $9 million.
He's making money. He's probably a good, solid guard. We got rid of him. We bring in Cole Strange. Then we proceed to draft 2 to 3 more interior linemen this year. So it's,
And so
we've kept
Right.
investing at the interior linemen. And, look at all the guys we've had out there. What's his name that we didn't want to play? It's in Kansas City now. He's a great guard. I'm drawing a blank.
Tooney.
Thank you. I mean, we've let a lot of these guys go. We've kept trying to just replace contracts instead of replace talent and players. Tackle's the most surprising. We haven't invested in the position since Isaiah Wynn, literally.
I'm shocked by the tackle situation, and we can get into that. But the thing that bothers me
It's
the most
killing me
about
how
our
bad they are.
roster building is we never resign. I've mentioned this so many times in the podcast. We never resign homegrown talent. We never do. Okay.
Yeah.
Jacoby
been a
Myers is the
while.
most recent example, but you look up and down the board. We haven't locked up on Wenu. We haven't locked up Uche. We haven't
Duggar.
locked up Duggar. Guys that can actually play that we
have
know they can play here.
So much cap space next year. It's
and
ridiculous.
we're ready to let all those guys go again.
Yeah. It
Seems like it.
Why? Why are we doing that?
I don't know.
You know?
Well, on
Maybe
Wenu's
they-
price just went down. Now's a
Yeah.
great time to sign him.
Now's
Duggar-
a great time to
and
sign
Duggar,
it.
too.
Yeah.
Duggar's
Yeah.
is down. Duggar's value's down.
Duggar's a guy that you know can play. And I
Oh,
know
definitely.
he's
Well,
older.
they-
He's going to be, 28, 29 by the time he resigns.
Yeah.
But, you know he can play football,
Well, dude, they're
man.
kind of playing him and Peppers out of position too. They're putting them. They're kind of switching off at free safety when neither of them is really a free safety.
Yeah.
They're both bigger guys that
They're playing
wanna-
Mapu at safety. I'm
They're
like,
playing,
can Mapu play a little bit of linebacker? You're already playing a bunch of big bodies up front.
And
Can we get
there's,
some more speed in the front seven?
And they hate Jalen Mills as the deep free safety, which is I
Yeah.
thought where he would be, and then
Same.
you can kind of play around with Peppers, Duggar, Mapu. So the offense, the defense is just not opportunistic. They're not getting any turnovers. That's why we're so bad in the turnover differential. We only have 2.
I think we have
Two
two turnovers in the year. So we are. Let me just look at the turnover numbers.
We're the worst.
We
We've given
are
up
32nd in the league on turnovers.
There you go.
Right now, we are last in the league in turnovers. We have 2 on the year,
Yeah.
and our offense is
Giving up
the
10?
4th worst with 10 turnovers. So
Terrible.
un Belichick like numbers here, and I know we have been going through some really tough times here, and it could potentially get a little better, but I don't think it's going to get better enough to where it really makes a difference. So
Yeah, maybe.
Yeah. The number one,
think it's time.
Number one value add you could have this year is if Mac Jones gets back to a form that we're happy with. Number one value add you could have, because at the very least, if it doesn't work out getting a guy in the draft next season, then you have a guy on a rookie contract who's a serviceable starter. It's a number one thing that could happen, and I actually like James's point about using a mid-round pick to shore up the offensive line because he's not going to get his confidence back unless he feels
need
like
something.
he can be protected.
Here's a
And
name for you.
Maybe it's
I agree.
coaching,
I
maybe
agree.
it's development, maybe it's somebody outside the building.
Here's a name for you. I don't know what he'd cost. He might cost too much, but Garrett Bowles over there in Denver. I don't know what.
Oh, that's a
left
good
tackle-
one. That's a really good one.
He hates it there. They suck. They said they're willing to trade away most of their team, at least all their defense. I don't know if they let him go for anything, but
That's a good one.
I feel
I
like
also picked up Jonah Williams, who was a high draft pick in Cincinnati, isn't getting on the field.
oh, he's still there.
He's still there. He's in the last year of his contract. But Cincinnati's probably going to try to make a push. They're going to want to keep whatever depth they can get. But
Yeah.
in the offseason, it's not very often that you'll see like left tackles. Not that he has played like a good left tackle, but he's got the pedigree. But those guys are just hard to find. It's hard to find a number one wide receiver, a left tackle, a quarterback. You're not going to find those in free agency. Cap
No.
space isn't going to help you with that. That's
No.
where trades and drafts come in. So
Yeah.
I think we've harped a lot on this. Why don't we shift gears and talk about some of the other games from this weekend, and then look forward to Week 6 in Las Vegas. Real quick before we do, I just want to point out, not wearing Patriots gear today, wearing some Earl Campbell classic jersey. I need to put something on that might make me a little bit happier.
Get something out. Get out of the funk.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
So
Oh man, there's
some of the other games from last week. Thursday night, the Bears get a victory.
Came alive.
DJ Moore goes absolutely crazy. Washington tried to make a comeback. They made it pretty close in the fourth. Chicago ends up pulling away again on another DJ Moore touchdown on a screen pass. Ridiculous.
Yep.
So are the Bears ahead of the Patriots in the power rankings? They are right now, right?
They are. Yeah.
yes, we are dead last in the power
Dead last.
rankings, my
I'm
friend.
going to stop asking that question then.
Carolina doesn't have a win, and we're worse than them.
Carolina's 0-5, and we are number 32
We're number
according
32.
to Pro
Isn't that
Football
great?
Talk.
Wow, incredible. Okay, different game. London, early game on Sunday morning. The
The
Jaguars
Bills.
playing a home game
Yes.
in London. It was actually Buffalo's home game, but we all know who the home team is in London. Jaguars get the victory. Josh Allen played great, running game non-existent for the Bills, and the Jags were just like holding on at the end,
Yeah.
and they were able to pull it out.
Yeah, and they did it. They made the Bills look mortal, which is pretty good. Maybe that had to do with travel. I don't know. I didn't get to see the whole game because it was early. But yeah, it's too bad that the AFC East teams are all looking beatable right now, and we
Yeah.
can't even field a freaking team. Because
I
if
know.
we could, it would be competitive. But Miami, between the Bills and Miami, and obviously the Jets, the Dolphins won. We'll get we can talk about that game quick. They won, but it looked a little sloppy. Wasn't a clean
Yeah.
game.
Jags. Trevor Lawrence made a couple unbelievable throws when it all really mattered at the end of the game. Fade to Calvin Ridley, beautiful throw. He had a couple throws in this game that were like inch perfect. The Bills, Tre'Davious White, we saw last Monday out for the season,
Oh yeah.
and then Matt Milano now banged up out indefinitely. That's a huge loss for them, and you just wonder, are the Bills going to go back to like Josh Allen? Because I'm worried about the Bills' defense now.
Should be.
So if they have to play from behind or whatever they have to do to score a ton of points, I just wonder if Josh Allen's going to go back to that hero style ball, playing like a psycho again for the Bills to remain at their best. I'm worried about the Bills long term. If their defense, I just don't think they're that deep of a team. I guess is my problem with them. I think that they're a good team. Tre'Davious White, Kyer Elam has not been that great. They took him in the first round the previous year, and I'm just like, I think Daquan Jones is hurt. They just have problems,
Yeah.
right? Von Miller, I think, is coming back soon. I just wonder if they're like going to be too dependent on Josh Allen going forward.
Yeah, that Milano injury is gigantic for them. He runs that defense.
It is, yeah.
Let's talk Texans, Falcons. I know, right? Ryan has had this game
love it.
circled. Your Texans came back. They took the lead in the fourth quarter. They weren't able to close it out. Falcons with the last-second field goal.
How about Desmond Ridder just keeping Taylor Heineke at bay?
He played good.
You know?
Ritter
Yeah.
played well.
He played really
very
well,
surprising.
man. I think this is the most I've seen him get to the ball to the tight end, to both tight ends there, Jonnu and Kyle Pitts, and the receivers. He threw one ball to Bijan that he caught like behind his back. Did you see that?
Yeah, it was
No, I
nuts.
missed
Brought it in
that
for a
one.
touchdown. He had a rushing touchdown. I think this might have been Desmond Ritter's best game as a pro. Just to keep Heineke at bay. I thought Stroud was good. You know, is it mostly a defensive game? But Kyle Pitts, I don't remember a player that we've hyped up for a tight end this high that's been like pretty lackluster.
O.J. Howard
through most
had
of-
some big hype.
OJ Howard, yeah,
Yeah, the
through
dude,
most of his career.
And Njoku was pretty hyped too, but maybe he wasn't as high. of a
And
pick.
Joku from Miami, right? But I think this is one of the few games I can remember where Pitts led the team in targets, catches, yards, all that.
Yeah. Maybe they're finally.
Ritter did a good job.
Learn
I
how
just
to
wonder
use
how
him.
much different Pitts would look with a good
God.
quarterback. You know,
If they sign, I'm going to say it again, Lamar Jackson was available.
I know,
If the
dude.
Falcons
I thought
got
that made
Lamar
a
Jackson,
lot of
sense, man.
Holy shit.
That would have been
I
perfect.
thought that made a
for
lot
them.
of sense.
God, that would have been incredible. Okay,
I
next.
can't believe they took Bijan. Like I get that they took Bijan there.
believe it.
I get it because of the talent level, but to not take
You had
you know-
top 10 picks 3 years in a row, and they took Kyle Pitts, Drake London, and Bijan.
Yeah,
It's like they're just going for splash draft
yeah,
picks.
that's a fantasy draft right
Full
there.
they're
splash.
a quarterback away. I feel like they're a full-time quarterback away from being like, because the defense is pretty good.
They've managed
You
to
know?
build a decent defense. We mentioned Miami, New York. Miami beats the Giants pretty handily. Daniel Jones knocked out of the game. Trending like he's going to play this week. What's his face? A-Chain went, or A-Chan.
Ashan.
Ashan.
He wants to be called Ashan now.
A-Shan.
Yeah.
However he wants to say it, he's a freak. He's also injured,
unbelievable.
out for a few weeks, but goes for another. I mean, it looked like Pop Warner when he ran to the edge and just turned the
Yeah.
edge on NFL players.
It was-
Like Pop
time
Warner's
touches
that
the
the
ball.
fast kid. He just runs to the sideline and then turns.
Yeah.
He just did that
He's
in the
averaging-
NFL
yeah, it's crazy.
He's
Absolutely
averaging well north of 10 yards a carry, and I drafted him.
and let him
I
go.
drafted him this year. I'm like, he's not playing.
You
week
let him go?
one, so I let him go for like some backup running back for Chicago, Roshan. And
Ouch.
man, am
That
I
hurts.
regretting
That
that? And
hurts.
I'm like, I'm absolutely atrocious. So I'm like,
I got
Well,
I got
okay.
Ashan on my team.
Good for you. You lucky. You won the
you
waiver
didn't
pool.
draft. You didn't draft him.
I did not.
So you don't
draft
know.
him. I did not
Fair
have
enough.
any faith. I knew who he was, and I thought he wasn't going to do shit.
Yeah.
You're just a number looker, is what you are. all right?
Basically,
Let's
I watched the kid.
Let's wrap up
Basically-
the wrap up the AFC East with JJ's pick of the week. Jets at Broncos. I can't believe you're interested in that game.
yeah, it was a
But-
good game.
I'm sure it was. I'm
It's all
sure.
JJ. It's
Well,
all JJ
The
here.
thing is, I mean, both of those teams roll the dice. You have no idea what's going to happen.
It was an
Pick six on
entertaining
any
game.
play.
Yeah.
Yeah. How about
I
that?
think
Jets
he
in the
he
win column.
fumbled it to lose it. Russell Wilson fumbled it. They were coming back. They had a chance. Did you see that?
That's the only team that I feel worse about than us. And I'm not saying
Broncos?
like if we played head to head, which we will later in the season, we might win, they might win. I'm not talking about that. I'm just talking about they hemorrhaged draft capital and cap space to sign Russell Wilson, and he's garbage.
He's
And
terrible.
their
They
defense
can't- they-
is
they-
historically bad. I mean, that team is in shambles.
Here's the difference. They can't get out of that.
Yeah. Yeah, they're fucked.
We can get out of some of our fuck ups.
Yeah, you
Yeah,
don't get the
definitely.
We
short-term
don't.
shit.
Right.
Some of the games of the week: Steelers and Ravens, always a good one. Somehow, I'm watching the ticker, and the Ravens are winning. The Ravens are winning, and the Steelers are winning. Just how do they do this? They play like crap and they win games.
Yeah, it doesn't make
So
sense.
they
They scored
they got
14 in
so
the fourth
lucky.
quarter.
Yeah,
They got so lucky. The Ravens dropped everything.
Yeah.
Their receivers dropped everything.
Mm-hmm.
7 drops. I think at least two were by Andrews. One of them was a touchdown. Aguilar, one of the worst drops you'll ever see. Wide open,
Yeah,
no one
that
around
was so
him.
bad.
Fucking, are you fucking kidding me?
believe it,
Zay
though.
Flowers dropped 2. 7 drops. That's the most drops in a game since 2017. Tied for the third most, actually. Odell Beckham, like, Jesus Christ, man. Because I tell you what, if you watch this game, Lamar Jackson was awesome. Awesome. And guys just
Yeah.
weren't catching the fucking
He
ball.
was putting it there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So Baltimore drops one in the division.
Steelers are now 3-2.
this-
They've looked
So
like a
I think both
shitty
teams
team.
are-
Steelers.
Yeah.
The Steelers' offense is like
It's so
Crazy.
bad.
horrendous to watch.
Yeah.
It's like
But then they'll score a touchdown.
nothing. Deep bomb to Pickens, and it works.
I know.
And it's
I
like,
mean-
oh, they look functional.
I wish
Like,
we had
no, they're not
that.
functional.
I'd take that right now.
Yeah, we drafted Tyquan Thornton ahead of George Pickens. Another one. Just another one right there. Okay, the Bengals seem like they're getting back on track. 2 straight wins. Go out to Arizona, handle business. The Jamar Chase makes his presence felt. Goes for almost 2 bills in this game. Joe Burrow looks like himself again. I'm not sure what type of magic elixir or if he's getting visited by the Pea Patrol there. But Bengals seem back, and I'm willing to believe that they're back.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think so.
Cardinals put up a good fight, but Jamar Chase was just way too much for them. I think he's the best receiver in football. Like, I really do. Even ahead of Justin Jefferson. If you
Really?
can get this guy a chance to catch the ball, he's just incredibly dynamic in space, can make guys miss. He's powerful, he's strong, he's fast. To me, he's the best receiver in football.
Speaking of good receivers, Cooper Kupp made his season debut
Yeah.
and did pretty
He's
well.
back.
Rams didn't have enough to beat Philly. Philly kind of handled the game. It wasn't like a blowout or anything, but they were just in control the entire time. But now the Rams have Puka and Cooper Kupp, 2 guys that are each going to get like 14 targets a game.
Yeah.
No one else on the team is going to be involved.
No need for him.
I'm astonished that the Rams are this competitive.
Yeah.
Aren't you?
Yeah.
Like,
You
I thought
forget that they were a good team 2 years ago, and then everything fell flat. Stafford gets hurt and everything else, and they trade away Jalen
but
Ramsey. They're well
they
coached.
mortgaged everything.
They did.
They mortgaged everything, I feel like, to be competitive a couple of years ago. And they didn't have a lot of picks until this past year, where they kind of, bargained their picks away for later round picks, and they ended up with a ton.
Yeah.
And the offensive line is a disgrace, I think. But they're making the best out of it. I think this is potentially Sean McVay's best coaching job so far, to keep it. I mean, this wasn't the best example, but just like so far in the season,
Yeah.
for the Rams to be this good, I think is pretty remarkable.
Yeah. Another
is,
nomination for McVay's best coaching job was his first year with the Rams. He's like 31 years old, head coach, and Jared
were
Goff
good.
is looking like a bust after 2 years under, what was his name? Miller. God, I'm forgetting his name. But
I can't even remember. Yeah.
yeah, Goff looked horrendous. And then McVay shows up, and he's an MVP candidate within a year. And it's like,
It's funny
It's
too,
amazing
because you
what
look
he
at
did.
Goff. You look at Goff now too, and it was a good transition to the Carolina-Detroit game. Detroit's offense with Ben Johnson at the helm. Was he
juggernaut.
37 years? Ben Johnson's 37 years old.
Yeah.
He's going to be a head coach next year. I
Probably.
guarantee it.
He just signed an extension. He got a big pay raise.
I mean, he's going to get an even bigger pay raise to be a head coach.
Yeah.
I mean, for them, in Carolina's defense, okay, like there's problems there, but you look at the talent level, it's not bad. Detroit put up 42 points.
It made it look
Against
easy.
Carolina.
28 in the first half.
Kicked the crap out of
Yeah.
him.
David Montgomery looks like he's going to be a
Unbelievable, yeah.
good player for them. They're just getting Jamison Williams back now. Amon-Ra St. Brown, I think he was out for this game.
He was.
Laporta.
Laporta's killing it.
Laporta's in the
Laporta
Rookie of the
fought.
Year conversation at this point.
Yeah, he's like the best
He
tight end in the
absolutely
league.
is.
For Christ's sake.
Who is his competition at this point.
Also,
for rookie of the
called it on Sam Laporta. Some people had him as a 3rd-round pick. I
Did
had
you?
him in the 1st. Loved him at Iowa. He was so good. You see a shooting star, Rye?
My wife was trying to bring me food. I said I'll take it upstairs when I'm done.
You don't want to eat on video?
No, it's not good for the camera, is it?
No, not
I
really.
could manja in front of you guys. I don't think you'd like it.
We're not that type
But,
of show. Okay,
no.
let's talk the night games. Sunday night, big hype. I was psyched for it. Cowboys, Niners in San Fran, and it was close for
Blowout.
a quarter.
Blowout.
And then it was just over. I mean, the Niners offense is unstoppable.
It's a juggernaut.
Brock Purdy
talking
is
about
untouched back
Yeah.
there. They can run it with whoever. I mean, they could put any running back there, and that
Anyone.
guy's going for 6 yards
And
a
it's
carry.
McCaffrey.
And they got 4. I mean, I was Brandon Ayuk starts on my fantasy team every week. This is not a fantasy show, but he's their 5th option. It's
And he's
crazy.
disgusting.
Yeah,
I have Debo. Yeah, it's hard not. It's hard to bench him. It's hard to bench Debo, and I have Debo. It's just like. It's just a structured offense that knows what they're doing. There's a good plan every week. The ball's going to be spread around.
Their offensive line is
Offensive line.
And there's
disgusting.
so many
Plays so
weapons.
well.
It's just like, it's so many weapons. Brock Purdy is comfortable. He's got the best tackle, I think, in the league. Trent Williams is fucking awesome, man. Like, and it just works. Everything San Francisco is doing right now is just like turning to gold.
It works.
You know?
Well, the best part about
Yeah.
it is they just kicked the crap out of the Cowboys, who put an absolute shellacking on the Patriots, and we thought, well, at least the Cowboys are pretty good, and then you see them get their doors blown in by the Niners. They couldn't stop anything. We go, well, the Cowboys is a good defense. They looked like there was no defense against the
Hot garbage.
Niners. Did whatever the fuck they wanted. They threw whatever pass they wanted. Their tight end had 3 touchdowns, I think.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Kittle.
So
It's a good example of how far off we are.
it is.
I
No,
think,
that's
you know.
definitely true. And that comes down to effort for me, because to lose, be outscored 72-3 in the NFL. It's like something is broken. Like, it can be fixed. It can't be that bad. You've played better teams and didn't give up as many points, and you scored more points against defenses. How did it break like this? There was something that happened. I don't know what. Before the
Let's
Dallas
talk about
game.
how what it takes to lose 2 games in a row, 72-3.
Yeah.
You know, like,
Something is
what
going
needs
on.
what needs to go wrong for that to happen? Because we see like Arizona
And they're
like,
trying.
trying their
There's a
ass off,
fight in
man.
there. We have some good players. Yes, we're shitting on absolutely everyone. Some of the guys, this is the NFL. Like, some of the guys can fucking play. Some of
When
them
I see
are
a guy
players.
get beat off the line, when I look at offensive linemen get beat off the line of scrimmage, and then just start walking around, to me that's like a huge red flag.
Yeah, like they don't care anymore.
You know, like Trent Brown and on when he's done it this year, and David Andrews is diving around trying to block guys like while he's diving. It's like,
Yeah, it's just
all right,
ugly.
I see you, David, but like, you got to have everybody on that same page, and it's just like,
Yeah,
it takes a collective effort. It takes motivation.
yeah.
And if you don't have that motivation, God, man, I hate to harp on the Patriots like this, but there's no fight. There's no fight, man, and I just want to see fight. Like, and if you don't have that, then let's just get the fucking best pick we can, because I'm just not in the mood
All right.
to watch you fucking.
Thanks, Debbie.
So the last game leads into the next week.
Sure does.
Packers Raiders, right? Did you guys watch it?
I did. It was a good game. It's good.
It was
a
pretty
bit
good.
a bit sloppy.
Raiders-
Jordan Love
Raiders
threw
suck.
one of the worst pick sixes I've ever seen. Hit the guy like in the face mask. I think if he didn't put his hands up, the ball would have got stuck there.
Worse
It would've
than
ran.
Max? Because I didn't see the beginning.
Yeah, at least Mac was getting hit
Yeah.
when he threw his pick six. The one across the field against Dallas, that was worse.
Okay.
But yeah, Vegas did enough to hang on in the end. They were they're a good example of a team that sticks with the running game, even if it's not crazy productive. They'll at
Right.
least stick with it. Garoppolo he's just kind of so-so, honestly. Max Crosby jumps off the screen. He's the guy I'm terrified of next
Yeah,
week.
he's a fantastic player.
Oh my God, his effort level is next. I mean, it's out of this dimension. That guy's endurance. I would love to know what his training is.
Well,
or
I love
what
guys
type
like
of
that,
stimulants
yeah.
he's on, because he is an
Ready to
energizer
go.
bunny. He plays every
Yeah.
single play, and he plays that play the hardest of anybody on the field. You can see it clearly. Plus, he's got talent, great length. Yeah, I can't say enough about
Cocaine.
him.
Cocaine, dude.
Cocaine.
I'm telling you,
He's sober.
Lawrence Taylor
Yeah.
Lawrence Taylor loved it, dude. You know,
Yeah.
one of the all-time greats there. I don't know, man.
So Vegas is coming into this game 2-3, 3-2.
2-3. Josh
two-
McDaniels looks like a deer in the headlights out there. Going for did you see that? He's getting roasted today with that 4th
His
and 1.
decisions make no sense.
No
Absolutely.
sense.
I see Jacoby Myers out there with 10 targets and 7 catches for 75 yards and a touchdown.
That'd be nice.
And I'm just like,
It felt like even more than that watching the
What
game. He was there every single time.
he's awesome. He's such a good player, and you know he can perform in your offense. And now he's on another.
And we got Juju,
Oh.
who had 3 catches for 6 yards for his 5th week in a row.
and just
Yeah. Well, luckily we won't have to see Juju this week. Hopefully he gets better. All that
yeah.
stuff.
I hope so.
But so we're facing the Raiders next week, and the Raiders are coming into this game. They're not that. I mean, their numbers aren't very good. They're 29th.
They're
in
a
total
terrible
offense,
team.
14th in total defense. They get after the passer. That's one thing they do well. They do not cover people well. Linebackers, nothing to write home about. I mean, their defense should allow us to at least put together a manageable game. Offensively, Devontae Adams is obviously a huge problem, and you would love to have Christian Gonzalez for that. Not going to happen, obviously. But there's going to be a ton of focus on Devontae. Jacoby Myers is probably going to play well. He's probably going to get his chances. And,
Definitely.
yeah.
I mean, if we need to put a lot of emphasis in stopping the run and covering Devontae, and it's just, there's not that enough resources to spread around after that. You just kind of hope Jimmy doesn't get the ball down the field.
So surprisingly, the Raiders have the worst rushing offense in the entire league, which
Yeah.
I don't know what happened.
Their offensive line
I don't know
has
if it's
been
like-
suspect all year.
That is
Right.
surprising.
And that to me is like a boon for the Patriots to maybe get a knock on their offense.
Yeah.
Not the best passing team, 17th in the league in passing. I just don't know what defense we're going to get. Are we going to get the defense like... I mean, we're not going to get the Judon pass rush, of course. And I was annoyed with our personnel last week where we didn't have Uche in there as much as I thought we should have.
Yeah, he didn't get a big
There was a lot
uptick.
of Mac Wilson,
Who is
Anthony
And-
Jennings.
Anthony Jennings,
Yeah.
and I'm like, why is Uche not just immediately going to Judon's role?
Yeah. I mean, I will
And-
give it that Jennings does play well when he's in there. I'd like to see more of Uche. They kind of split pass rushing downs between him and Keon White. I probably would have liked to see them both on the field more. Jennings isn't bad. Mac Wilson is, I don't even know what he's doing. Might as well have, he's a negative
Horrible.
player. On
That goal line
dude,
play,
the goal
he
line
looked
play,
lost.
he bounced off the running back. It's like you're the middle linebacker coming downfield, and it didn't even look like he hit him. The running
Why
back
are you even
just
on the
ran
team?
through him.
Why are you even on the team?
I don't know.
That's
He was terrible. You know what? I do have one positive from this game. I do. Sean Wade played
He did.
probably
You're actually
40%
right.
of the snaps, and he made a
Yeah,
couple good
I
plays.
know.
I was shocked to see it.
He had a nice pass breakup on Michael Thomas.
He looked like a little bit like the part at corner as a number 3 or number 4 corner, which was nice to see. If you get some of
Yeah.
the Joneses back, and he's your fourth over someone. Well, Miles Bryant plays a lot, but Vegas isn't a good team. They're not a good team. Josh McDaniels, you can get in the coach's head. Jimmy Garoppolo isn't playing great. He's been sacked a bunch of times. Their offensive line isn't good. They have Devontae Adams. They have Josh Jacobs on offense. That's it. You should be able to beat a team like this. It's just I mean, Rye, you're worried about what defense shows up. I'm worried about what offense shows up. Are we going to get the offense that it can't score anything? Blown out, a shutout in the NFL is like a joke. The whole NFL is designed to score points. We get shut out. So
Yeah, that's the big worry.
Can we, the Bears. The Bears showed up, scored 40 points last week. Is that ever going to happen?
No.
No.
I'll tell you right now, that's not going to happen. Unless we get 3 defensive touchdowns. The Patriots offense is the big question mark in this one. I do worry a bit about McDaniel's ability to attack our defense just because he's so familiar with it. I don't think it's going to work the reverse where he's going to like have some defensive game plan that shuts down our offense. I think it's mostly going to be his offense is going to know some of the weak points in our defense, or at least some of the schematic advantages that he can take advantage of.
Right.
I got the Raiders winning this game. Last week I said there were 7 teams in the NFL that I thought we could beat. This week it might be 1.
Who's that?
I
Carolina?
think the Panthers. I think we could beat the Panthers.
Yeah.
After this week, if they bounce back, if they play well, I mean, we didn't say it before, but Belichick said we need to restart. We need to start over. And that's true. And if they're able to start over, then next week maybe the list of teams we could beat grows. But this week it's only one team, and we're not playing that one team, so I'm picking the Raiders.
So what do you guys think starting over means?
It's a good question.
Like he says, we're going to start over.
Fundamental football. That means
that's
run
what he
heavy,
said.
Run heavy.
Basic scheme on run, and I think one read quarterback, one or two read
simplified
passes.
Right? So it's like,
he's not going to be scanning the field anymore. He's not going to be doing as many checks at the line.
A lot of easy mesh.
Now, did you hear what Schefter said that this isn't going to be the same looking offense? You hear that comment?
I did. Yeah.
So what does that mean? Do you think he means he's going to bring? That's what I wonder. When I was talking about the trade talk earlier, do you think they're going to bring someone in? Kraft?
No.
Kraft could go over to them and say, "Hey, here's $20 million. Fucking make this thing a little bit more tolerable. Go get someone."
Who you can get? A player?
I don't know. I don't know.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? But like, it's that bad. He's not spending a lot of money on this team right now, comparatively. I'm wondering what all that means. To me, that means they're getting somebody or doing something. They're making a drastic change, and the answer isn't on this roster right now.
I don't know what it would be. It would have to be someone outside of the roster, because
Yeah.
you're not getting a coach at this stage, and it kind of is what it is. You have Bill O'Brien there. You have an offensive line coach that was specifically brought in for the offensive line. I
Which
think
has sucked.
simplified to me means you're running a lot more run. You're running a lot more, 21.
Fullback offense.
Maybe some fullback. You're taking the ball out of center a lot more than you were before. I don't know. I just think that it's not enough. You need. First of all, I think the biggest thing you need is continuity on the offensive line, where everybody's
which they
playing the
just
same
don't-
position.
they don't have.
Same position
Yeah.
they've been. I guess on
That's what David Andrews said.
Continuity is a big thing for an offensive line, like to know where guys are lining up, to have that communication with the guy next to you. You make the calls, quarterback calls the mic, and then you base your blocking scheme off of that. I think that's huge, man. So I don't want to see us go too simplified, but maybe that's what we need, the X running deep and the Y running short, and we'll see what the Z does.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know, man.
What do you guys got for predictions this week? I'm going Raiders 24, Pats 13.
Yeah, I was going to do Raiders 21, Pats 12. I mean, as depressing it is to say that. I am curious if, since Juju's not going and he's been our slot receiver in this offense, that Bill O'Brien's offense, Patriots offense, always the slot is such an important position, and you've gotten zero. It's basically the safety blanket of the offense. That it's we don't really have the third down back. That's the next thing up. I don't know what they're going to do. I don't know who they're going to put there. Maybe it's Kendrick Bourne. I'm not sure, but I'd like to see if that change helps at all with Mac being a little more, because that's where Jacoby was. We replaced him straight up with Schuster, and he's been, keep saying. But all right, Ryan, you are up.
Well, the sad thing is, I feel like Jacoby Myers is in a good place to beat us this week.
Yeah. He's going to show out.
We don't really have a guy for that. We have a big tall corner that can play big guys, which they don't have really, and we have a smaller corner, Jonathan Jones. That I don't know. I just don't feel like he matches up that well against Jacoby. I see Devontae Adams is limited in practice with a shoulder. I just don't really know what we're doing at this point. I don't know what our game plan is. I would like to say it's run heavy, play action offense, clear up things for a Devontae Parker type, but I have no confidence anymore. And I think I'm going to go Raiders 24, Pats 9. Field goals.
Field goals.
So bad.
The no touchdown streak continues.
I got to say, if they lose this week, losing to Josh McDaniels, Jimmy Garoppolo, and Jacoby Myers, basically, because if they lose this week, that's kind of the nail in the coffin, as Ryan alluded to earlier. That basically means you're going to be 1-7 through Miami. I mean, how ironic would it be if it's those three guys that serves Belichick his big
his
career-changing loss?
It's not that hard to put together, a couple dynamic players on offense. We have one. We have Ramondre Stevenson.
Yeah, and he's not playing well.
I'm sorry, Ramondre's ineffective without blocking.
Yeah,
so
absolutely.
I mean, you could pay money for a wide receiver that's dynamic. Look what DeAndre Hopkins did this past week for Tennessee. If there's no DeAndre Hopkins there, then they're not even in that ball game. You know what I mean? Like, number ones at key positions
is huge.
They're trump cards, and like we have been taking that for granted for so long here. With Tom Brady in the building, where we can just get by with number 2s and 3s everywhere, and everybody's in New England. I feel like has come to that point where they're like, oh, we didn't have to pay for that guy, and he's fucking good, like Julian Edelman, and it's just like that's not how it is in reality. You need to pay for these guys.
Okay. We got you.
Edelman stayed because of Brady.
Yeah,
for
exactly.
less money.
And then Brady left and he left.
Right.
See you later. Okay, some other games this weekend. We could do this pretty quickly. 49ers Browns. That's a highlight for me. The Browns defense has taken a step back from where they were the first 3 weeks of the season, but they're still a formidable bunch.
They're coming off a bye too, aren't they?
Yeah, so they were. So they're well rested. Niners are flying high. Opportunity for one of those come back down to earth games.
I would love it.
But the Niners just look so goddamn good.
They do.
I can't pick against them, but I'm very curious to see how it plays out.
Yeah, I mean, I'd be shocked if they take San Fran down, but I'd love to see it. I'm always rooting for the underdog. So home game
Watson,
for Cleveland.
Deshaun Watson's still questionable. Unknown if he'll be back. Something with his shoulder, allegedly. Also in Ohio, Seattle, traveling to Cincinnati, playing the Bengals. Bengals on a bit of a hot streak right now. Seattle's a decent football team. They play pretty consistently.
Game there.
Yeah, underrated game. Could be a good one.
Seahawks just had a bye.
Yep, coming off bye as well.
How about that? We're gonna start.
Joe
hearing that
Burrow
a lot
put
more
2
often.
games in a row that he's good because he was finally good last game?
Yeah,
I think
These
he
are
does
early
it.
buys, man.
I know, super early. which one was next. It was Saints at Texans.
Oof.
I can't wait for the Saints to score 13 points in this game, and we're,
Yeah,
we're
the
like
Texans.
shaking our heads. Oh my God, we gave them 34.
Yeah, Texans
no.
beat the shit out of them.
Yeah.
Oh my God, I wouldn't be surprised.
That's what's
I
going to
feel
happen.
like the Texans are going to win that game too, and like the Saints didn't overly impress me. I just thought I thought we were that bad.
We
We
just
were that
beat
bad.
ourselves the entire game. They sucked. We didn't even talk about it. The Saints had so many shitty offsides, holding penalties,
So many.
down the field holding. I was like, when the first drive happened, finally we've met our match with someone that's going to force dumb penalties and put themselves back 25 yards.
I was
Okay,
texting you
great.
this during the game. I think our best plays were penalties
Yeah.
against the Saints. And God, man, that's so pathetic to say. I like the way the Texans are playing, man. I think they're playing good ball. I think the Saints played good ball against us last
Yeah,
week.
they've been good.
That's-
Next game,
I don't know. Take that.
would
with
have
a grain
thought
of
this was a
salt.
laugher at the beginning of the season. Cardinals at Rams. Both teams are playing surprisingly well.
Yeah, it's a hard-fought game.
I have no idea who's going to win this game. I really can't pick.
I got to say L.A. They got a lot of firepower now with Cup being back.
It's a good point. Arizona has had a way of losing games at the very end.
Yeah, definitely.
They not able to play a full game. Okay, a game that doesn't look good on paper, but hear me out. Lions at Buccaneers.
Yeah, I
The
mean,
Lions
it's
are
like-
playing great. The strength of the
They're both-
Buccaneers defense is their front seven.
Sneaky game.
Sneaky game.
The Lions have a terrific offensive line. They control games with them. I feel like the Buccaneers are one of the few teams that's able to hang with them with their defensive front. And then the game's in Tampa. I haven't looked at the weather or anything, but it's got to be hot as shit there. So
I would think so.
at the very least humid. It's like, that's got to give them an advantage. I still think Detroit's going to win, but I think it's going to be closer than people think, and probably lower scoring.
Tampa or not Tampa. The Lions have the sixth best offense and the sixth best defense right now.
Yeah, they're playing good. I had no
They're
faith in
playing
them,
really
but
well.
they're playing well.
Aiden Hutchinson's playing great. I think he had like a 94 or something like that by PFF's grade. He had a pick and a sack last week. I like the way the Lions are playing, man. With Jameson Williams getting back, let's get him going. That's a tough
See if they
one,
can
though.
get
I
Amon-Ra,
feel like the Bucks are a
St.
little
Brown
sneaky
healthy.
there. Like I could see people putting money on the Bucks for
Yeah.
the line.
I would think
It's at
about
home.
it. I would definitely think about it. Okay, the night games. Pretty dismal one. Sunday night. New York Giants at Buffalo. Interstate game.
What
right
is
there.
with the fucking Giants
Giants
on
are
primetime
terrible.
television?
It's-
I can't stand it. It's been like 4 out of 5 weeks or something.
It's
They
too
brought-
much.
They brought
just
Leo
need to-
Collins in.
They did.
Jets-
I was thinking we
Yeah,
could
they-
take them.
Or they brought him in for a workout.
Yeah, I saw that. I was hoping we did too, but clearly that's not happening.
I don't know why we wouldn't.
It is
I
stupid.
don't know why we wouldn't. Bill
Yeah.
should win that game. I would imagine.
They need a bounce back, and
They're gonna
this is a
kick the
great
shit out of
opportunity
them.
for a bounce back. Yeah, this game's at home. They should knock them right out.
They're gonna kick the shit out of them.
And then Monday night.
Monday
This
night.
is a fun game.
That is
Cowboys at
finally.
the Chargers.
Yes.
We get a good Monday night matchup.
Manning
Yes,
cast
dude.
Monday
Yes,
night.
dude.
Can't wait.
A lot of firepower on both offenses.
Eckler's back, I think, for this game too.
Good. Dallas coming off that real tough loss in primetime. Get another chance. Chargers, another team that's not able to finish games very often. So even if the Cowboys are down big, they're always going to be in it because they're playing the Chargers. I'm leaning
Chargers.
to the Chargers. That stadium, it's in LA. It's going to be mobbed with Cowboys fans. Mobbed.
God, they have the worst
I have no
fucking fans in that stadium.
I have
You
no
know?
faith in. I have no faith in the Chargers. I know Dallas just got smacked. I feel like Dallas is gonna win. I have zero faith in the Chargers. If anybody can make one more decision than them in the game, they lose.
It's not a bad shout either because the Chargers really don't have a home field advantage. You know, They go to that stadium.
Yeah.
I feel like whoever travels well, like Pats fans travel well. Philly fans. So there's a bunch of teams that travel well. Chargers fans do not travel. So
They don't even travel down the street to
yeah,
go
I
see
feel like
their
they're
team.
mostly Rams fans there in LA. Probably some Raiders
And
fans
Raiders.
there.
A lot
Right.
of Raiders fans.
And like San Diego is like a footnote, so it's tough, man, because I feel like they're a better team than the Cowboys right now. I don't think the Cowboys are that
Talent-wise,
great.
I agree with you. Khalil
Yeah.
Mack just found himself again. He had like 6 sacks the week before the bye or
tied the
something.
NFL record.
Crikey.
Yeah, I think the Chargers with the bye week coming up, the bye week fresh, get Quentin Johnston involved. You got Eckler back. It's a different dimension. Maybe the Cowboys haven't had the game plan from or had much on tape to game plan from. So for that reason, I'm going to take the Chargers.
Wow.
There you go. That's the one I'm looking forward to the most after San Fran and the Browns. All right, week 6. Thank you guys for
What do you guys, Commanders, Falcons? You guys talking
Commanders. I knew you were going to bring up the Falcons game. I
Come
knew
on,
it.
dude. You know I had to.
That Commanders team, I can't get a grip on it. Sam
do
Howell
like
looks
Howell.
he looks good. I mean,
He's got
he
fight.
slings it.
He's
got fight.
some fight,
Fucking
dude.
slings it, dude.
He's got plenty of arm talent.
I'd like
Has
him on
so
our
much
team.
sack to him, dude. He's got a sack on him, the size of fucking. You know what I'm
Size
saying?
of a
Like,
he's got balls like planets. I think that was Frank and Always Sunny.
I like that, man.
But Washington can't seem to put together a first half. It's not a uncommon affliction for a lot of these NFL teams. They just
Yeah.
start. They just start in the tank, and then
Literally.
it's just mad scramble in the second half.
That could be game of the week. I feel like that could be like an
Oh
overtime
my
game.
god.
Listen to you.
I'm just saying. I feel like it could be an overtime game. It could be a really tight game. No,
Yeah.
I know you're not interested in it, but I just think it's competitive. You know.
Washington's defense is melted garbage. I think Ritter's got a chance to string together a couple good games.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know.
agree. I agree. I think the Falcons. Take it.
I'll maybe pay attention. We'll see.
Yeah,
That's
should be close. At least in the fourth quarter, I'm predicting a 10-point halftime lead for Atlanta.
Okay.
Yeah,
Ravens Titans.
yuck fest. That's a yuck fest.
Is it?
Oh gosh, yeah.
Well, the Titans are.
Could
but
be.
I don't know,
Titans
man.
are-
Ravens just need to catch the fucking ball, right? Like, at 9:30 a.m. Is that in London or some shit?
Sure
Frankfurt?
is. That one's in London.
What?
What the fuck is it?
That's a London
9:30
game?
a.m.?
Oh yeah,
Ugh.
they're spreading out all over the map.
They're really
They
fucking
got so
up
many
my
overseas
Sundays.
games.
These people are
Both
really
of 'em.
messing up my Sundays. You know, with the
Surprised they're doing so many.
I hate it.
They see revenue. More.
Well, while we're on it, the Jets. You think the Jets have any chance against the Eagles?
No,
Not a
no,
chance.
That's horrible. Although I
Zach-
do think the 49ers Browns.
That's
They
Sean's
ended up being
favorite game
like-
of the week. He said.
Yeah,
You didn't hear
yeah.
him?
I like that one.
I like timed out on my media or whatever the fuck happened here. I like the Browns defense still. You know, I really don't think they're bad at all. And
I don't think
just
they. I
wonder-
don't think they have a chance against
I
the
just wonder if the
Niners.
Browns offense can move the ball against the 49ers defense, and like the 49ers are so complete as a team right now that I think the 49ers win that one pretty handily.
Yeah.
You guys
Definitely.
mentioned Jaguars Colts.
No.
No.
Another game I don't care one lick about. Richardson's not playing. Minshew's in. Don't care about that game.
Yeah.
What about
Richardson
Saints?
is already hurt multiple weeks this year.
Yeah. It's yeah.
I like the way Trevor Lawrence looks right now. Saints Texans.
We touched on that one. We laughed a bit about what's going to happen with the Saints. Why don't we wrap up these games for this week? To answer your question, James, no, the Jets have no chance. Zach Wilson's going to be stepping in the bucket with Jalen Carter bearing
I
down
hope
on him.
so.
It's going to be
Probably,
bad.
right?
It's going to be real bad.
Tough one.
Anyway, that'll do it for the week 6 podcast. thank you guys for listening, sticking through it with us as we just go
These
into
miserable
the
times.
7 depths of hell of being a Patriots fan for the first time in decades.
Yeah.
That it's this bad. This has got to be the lowest point in decades. Has to be.
Definitely.
Yeah.
Definitely.
It's the worst I can remember since at least 96.
That's bad.
97?
Jeez. You're going back.
Maybe
going
even
way
before
back.
that. Maybe even before that, dude.
And
it's
look at
not
us.
good.
We're surviving. We're getting through it.
Oh no, we're
Next week I'll
watching.
be
We're
wearing
watching every play. Like I'm not giving up. I'm watching everything. You know,
Yeah.
like. And if you're not, then you should unsubscribe from this podcast. And
Don't start getting people to run away.
I'm just saying, like.
The future
we're
is
Pats
bright.
fans. We're gonna be here no
It's
matter
not.
what.
We're
You
going
know
to
what I
be
mean?
here. Yeah, we are.
Yeah, we're in this for life. We've had enough good times to last the rest of our life, honestly.
We have.
So,
We've been lucky.
so yeah, we're in it. So anyway, thank you guys for listening. Please remember to like and subscribe, rate and review, and hopefully we have a much brighter tone next week after Week 6 game in Las Vegas.
Be nice.
We don't believe it,
Be
but
nice.
hopefully
Would be
we'll see.
nice. All right.
All right, thanks for listening. We'll see you.
All right, guys. See ya.
Adios.